What's going on, everybody? This is Chris with Pioneer Property Partners, and today I want to make a little video since we have a tenant moving out, and I just want to go through some property management forms that I find useful that I think you could use for a tenant when they are either moving in or out of a property. Okay, so one that I like to use is a move-out survey. So you give this to your tenant when they are moving out, and it's kind of a good way for them to give you some feedback. What didn't they like? What did they like? Because you got to think of your residents and your tenants kind of like customers, right? You want to improve the experience for them, so you want to get some feedback. Another one is a tenant cleaning checklist. So this is something you give to your tenant when they are moving out, and it's basically just a checklist of all the different things that they need to clean. They should be leaving everything in the condition that they got the property in, and just kind of a good little way for them to go through, or they can hand that off to a cleaning company and say, hey, here's everything that needs to get done. Next is a resident survey that you can give to a tenant as they are moving into a property, and that can just kind of be, again, getting feedback on what was the leasing experience like, what was the move-in experience like. And then the last couple of forms that I like to provide to a tenant who's moving into a property is an inspection checklist and an acceptance of the unit form. So basically what these two forms are is when you have a tenant moving into a property, they go ahead and do a little walkthrough and they record any kind of deficiencies or problems, and then they need to report that to you and give you this filled out form so that you know to fix those things either before they move in or right after they move in. That way when they go to move out, if there's any fresh damages, there's no discrepancy, right? It's not like if they walk into a place and everything's nice and good, and then when they go to leave, there's a big hole in the drywall. They can't say, hey, this was not recorded on your acceptance of rental unit form. So obviously you don't want to overload your tenants with paperwork, so try to keep these forms kind of short and sweet. But nevertheless, I find them to be very, very important when you have somebody moving in or out. Obviously, you want to get that feedback. You want to improve your experience for your residents and your tenants. And then, of course, just to cover yourself, you want to have forms that kind of document if there's any deficiencies or damages. That way there's no dispute when somebody goes to move in and out of a property. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. As always, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM. And again, this is Chris with Pioneer Property Partners out of Tampa, Florida. And thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful.